Okay, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another District Gooner Pod, episode 69. Steven, my co-host. How you doing, man? Happy Sunday.
Howdy. Doing good. Happy Sunday. So we're coming to you after a loss 2-0 to Bournemouth. It is 8 a.m. here in the district. Got a little rasp in the voice, of course. But doing all right. I honestly had a good Saturday after the loss. It was a 12:30 kickoff here, so it was the middle of the day, but weather is popping, good food, so I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, dude, I mean, same vibes. Honestly, I put the Arsenal game aside, and it's been a great weekend. Like, a really, really great weekend. Obviously, Saturday had you over, had a couple of other friends over, had a nice grill sesh leading up to the game. Fried up some eggs, some steaks, a little bit of sausage action. And it's like, all right, we're going to sit down. We're going to enjoy this game. It's a 12:30 kickoff. It's Bournemouth away. I'm going to be sick about the camera angle, but everything else is going to be all right. And it just didn't go our way from minute one. It felt like that one, dude. And I was embarrassed because I had an Argentinian friend over who's a big River Plate fan. And I was just like, dude, the boys are going to put on a show for you today, man.
He was in for it. He was definitely in for it. He was backing the boys. Just didn't work out. I guess let's just get straight into it. The lineup. I see you have an issue with the lineup here. So let's get into it.
I mean, what the fuck was that lineup, dude? I think I gotta just start there, bro, because I'm looking at it, man, and look, Bukayo Saka, it seems like the hamstring injury is somewhat serious, at least, with some bigger games coming up. Definitely a decision was made there. So right off the bat, you just know we don't have any creativity. There's no Martin Odegaard, there's no Saka. And we feel that those three midfielders who, I mean, that's a wall, but I don't know much about Mikel Merino, but I've never really backed Thomas Partey and Declan Rice to be the most creative midfielders, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
And you look at the bench, I mean, the bench was thin, I suppose, right? Who was on the bench? We had Miles Lewis-Skelly, Ismail Kabia. I don't even know who that young man is, to be honest with you. Zinchenko, he was back on the bench. Tommy Stetford was our goalkeeping backup option because Neto couldn't play against Bournemouth. We had Jorginho. We had Waneri. Gabriel Martinelli started on the bench. Gabriel Jesus was on the bench. And then Kiwior was on the bench. So kind of thin, but, you know, I just felt like it's Bournemouth away. It's good to see Benny Blanco return to the starting lineup, but I just felt like for a manager who has been preaching courage to the players, the lineup lacked a little bit of courage and bravery.
Ooh. Now, I'll be real with the pod here. When the lineup came out, so we're together immediately. We see the midfield three. We're like, so what are we doing? Like, what's the plan here? Defensively, 4-4-2 is what we do. That's just the shape we take up. I'm assuming you're going to have Trossard and Havertz up top. You're going to have Raheem out right. It's like, so then who's playing that left mid spot? You got Merino, Partey, Declan Rice. Said Partey's not moving, right? He's staying in the middle of the field. That's what he does. Then you got Rice and Merino. We only got 30 minutes of it. So I can't say it obviously wasn't a super success because the first 30 minutes were contentious. I think it was kind of back and forth. We did get a foothold eventually, but I know the first, I want to say 10 minutes, 15, it was kind of back and forth. But I think I kind of agree. If obviously hindsight's 2020, if I could go back to Mikel and say, hey, put this man in the lineup or put him in the midfield, I would have probably either put Trossard at an 8, or I would have started the kid. I would have put Waneri in there. Put Trossard in the midfield, Martinelli out left. I don't know why he didn't do that. I think Martinelli's hurt. We'll start there. Martinelli was hurt as well. I think there's a reason why he didn't start the game. But if that's the case, I think you need one player in the midfield that's creative. If I could go back and say something, I'm sure Mikel, if he's thinking back, what could I have done differently? I would say that is probably the item, huh?
Yeah, I think that's definitely one. I mean, so when this morning, because I, woke up at like 7 and my dog had actually pooped everywhere. So it's been a tough morning, but so put that into bin. But this morning when I woke up, the first thing I did was I tried to watch the highlights because I just wanted to remind myself, like, was it all that bad? And the first 3 highlights, Steven, the first one comes in the 10th minute. It's an outswinging corner from Arsenal. The next one comes like 10 minutes after that when David Raya has a poor distribution and they get the ball at the edge of the box, and fortunately it doesn't result in a goal. And then the third highlight is, in the 30th minute when the red card happens. So that's not sort of great first 3 shots of the game.
The best 3 opportunities, best 3 actions. I would have to go back and watch the first 30 minutes. People around, I was kind of buzzing a little bit, talking to people, eating my food. So the first 30 minutes, I can't say I was like sitting and completely figuring out what was going on. But pregame, the 3 midfielders didn't feel great about it. Wasn't sure exactly what was going to happen. Bournemouth had their opportunities. Semenyo starting the game off. He was obviously going to be a threat. That dude came out to play. Like Semenyo, I think, was trying to establish himself. But as far as attacking moments from us, first 30 minutes, can't really say one. And I guess from what you're just saying there, the outswinging corner is the one opportunity for the Arsenal. Ouch. Obviously, so red card happens. Sterling has to come off. Would have loved to see what he could do. There's a few times he did get the ball and he was the one player looking to drive at the player. He's the one player on our team that will like go at somebody, dribble. Once he left the field, we had nobody that was willing to do that. Trossard just didn't have once you go down to 10 men, Trossard, he's kind of lost his pizzazz, I think, a little bit. But I guess so 30 minutes in, red card. What'd you think?
Well, I think my biggest takeaway from this weekend is how quickly things can change, right? Like everything was so fine just a week ago. And I'm also reminded of how cruel this podcasting business can be, because the title of the last pod is Invincibles 2.0 loading ? And right off the rip, we get this result. You think back to the last pod, what were we saying? Trossard has just continued his great form. Martinelli has found his great form. I think Trossard, that pass back, uncharacteristic. I can't really figure out what was happening for him to even make that pass, right? Mm-hmm. So totally flipped on his head, his performances. Martinelli comes on, misses that one-on-one after he's found his form. Not great. William Saliba, I think he hasn't had the best season, I don't think, so far. He's ended up on some highlight reels during international breaks. Now he kind of has this panic moment, which something we really haven't seen him. He's always very calm and composed, and he always backs himself to win the foot race. So it's just a pure sort of adrenaline at that moment, the decision making, and can't really fault him. But I'll be honest with you, the action happened and I just thought red card immediately. I think if you are, it's one of those situations where if you've like played the game, I think sometimes you say, oh, these referees, like I wish they had like played the game and they would make a better decision. But that's one of those, if you've played the game and that happens to your team and you're on the pitch, you're asking for the red card because it's a red card, dude.
It is a red card. 100%. We made the mistake, right? And it's a chain of events. So Trossard plays the ball back, which I missed on first watch because immediately, red card, VAR is like, well, why is that a red card? Evan Nilsson's offside. Like, he's offside. Don't worry about it. They're not playing the replay from the pass. I didn't even realize Trossard made that. So it's a chain of events. He gets put under pressure. I don't know where his head's at for that one. That seemed like a hope and a prayer back to Raya, right? Even if it got to Raya, like that thing's probably bouncing. He lofted it in the air. Evan Nilsson obviously is quick to be on that. But then from Saliba's decision making, that is not the right choice in the 30th minute of the game. If we go down 1-0, I actually don't feel too terrible about that. I just don't. Who we are, who Arsenal is this season, last season, who we are as a team. 1-0 down to Bournemouth. All right, we can come back from this. We can overcome it. Red card in the 30th minute. That's just never good. It's just not good. We've seen it. We've got away with it twice this season. We've got away with it twice. And today, the luck ran out. Basically, or yesterday, the luck ran out. Ended up with a 2-0 loss. But that's the decision for me. You have to let Raya's been cooking this season. He's been cooking. Let him make the save. You have the pace. Ben White kind of turned. He's making a run. Evan Nilsson, I think he's a little bit older. He's quick. Obviously a Porto guy, so he knew what he was doing when he went down. He knows that ball. But obviously Saliba, I'm sure he's going to watch that back and be like, I just can't do that again. 30th minute of the game. 80th minute, maybe it's different, right? Where we're up or something. It's a different setting. 0-0. Too early for that. It's just too early.
It is too early. And I mean, yeah, you're right, dude. Third game. I mean, it's 3 games out of 8 where we've gone down to 10 players. And bottom line is we can't afford that. Against Manchester City, we had the second half fully down a man. Against Brighton, same situation. We got that red card in the second half. This one's just way too early for even a team like us. I mean, the good thing is we're very comfortable in it. You look back at the stats now, and even with the 10 men for, 70 minutes, we still had 51% of the possession. We still had 6 shot attempts. There were still moments for us to win the game. And going back to the lineup and the lack of courage and bravery from the manager, to your point of William Saliba, if we go down 1-0 to Bournemouth 30 minutes into the game, it's going to be all right. I also think, did we need to bring on Kiwior? Did we need to go sort of so defensive and have that respect for Bournemouth? Did it feel overdone? This is another instance where I think the manager has gotten his reaction to a situation wrong, dude. The red card against Brighton, it took too long for us to make a change. The red card this time around, again, like 6 minutes had passed for us to make a change. But then when we did make that change, to your point, yeah, Sterling was the only ball carrier that we had, and we took him off, right? So some of these decision makings around these situations are just not fully clicking right now, and it has to be discussed.
I think that's also another catch-22, because I remember that Brighton game and how long it took to make the change, and that really hurt us. This one, the change was quick. It was swift. I don't actually take any. I'm not gonna knock the decision personally. I know Kiwior got subbed later in the game, and I don't think that's a Kiwior can't finish this game because he's not performing well. I think it was just we need to get a defender off. He was the best option to come off at that point. After the red card, I want to say our 2 best chances are the Marino one, right after the red card, right? That Marino where he put it wide, right? Near post.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah.
So we had a chance right away. Would have loved to finish that. I think if you have someone like Odegaard in that position, I think that might be a goal. And then we go run to the Martinelli one. So those are 2 chances before Bournemouth goals, because that Bournemouth goal happened right after the Martinelli chance, which we will get to. But the change to Kiwior, I don't think was a huge. I'm not gonna knock Mikel for that. We were good defensively, man. We did hold up. Ended up being a set piece goal that they worked really well. I mean, that was some training ground stuff. That goal went in. I was like, damn, like that was solid. Like that was tight. You can't knock Bournemouth for that at all. Like it worked to perfection, and it's not Kiwior's fault either. So I don't think he had a terrible game. He did what he had to do. Still created a few chances, just didn't go our way.
Yeah, it's funny we got set pieced. It really is. And you think about this game and how like nothing really seemed to be going our way a lot of the time. Even David Raya, he had some shaky moments, man. But I think back to our set pieces and just like the plan going into the game seemed to be off, dude, because Declan Rice was taking all the corners. So naturally it was outswingers from the right-hand side of the goal. And like we're an in-swinging set piece team. We just are. And it's funny when you see Waneri come on with 10 minutes to go, suddenly he's taking the corners. Now we have a left-footed guy on the ball. So I do feel like there's another argument as to, well, should we have had a left-footed guy be involved from the beginning to take the corners? I don't want to sort of be too adamant about like corners. I don't want to be corners FC, but when you do go down to 10 men with 70 minutes to go, it did feel like, oh man, this has to be a 1-0 game. Where's that 1-0 going to come from? It's going to have to be a corner. And we just keep hitting outswingers.
That's fair. Once you get on to 10 men, that is something we're looking for. And you called this out early. We're watching together. You're like, why is Declan Rice taking these outswingers? We didn't really have any good opportunities from the corners. We had a decent amount, but no real significant opportunities, chances from them. But at 10 men, like that's 100%. The corner comes and like, as an Arsenal fan, you're like, oh, this might be something. This might be something. Nothing. Didn't have a thing on the corner. Waneri comes on and he came on late. I gotta tell you, like, I just like him. I like the kid. I like the way he moves the ball. Got us up the field a few times by like holding possession, dribbling a little bit, creating space for himself before releasing it. To me, that's someone that we could have used earlier. I really do think that. Those three in the midfield didn't play bad. I think Partey played pretty well. Declan Rice tried to show a little bit more of himself. I'm still not completely, I don't want to say I'm not sold on Merino. I just don't know exactly what he is yet. I haven't got to watch him enough, and watching him play 10 men doesn't help at all. So the jury's still out on him for me. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just don't know what he is yet, which is tough. But I feel like I know what Waneri is. I think I do.
Yeah, I mean, let's chat about Mikel Merino. I think he had a few good moments. The one particular moment that I remember was when he won the ball, when Kepa passed it to him. I just remembered his touch was so silky.
Ooh,
his touch was so silky to set it up, and then he slotted Martinelli through. So there's little actions like that are super exciting about him. He did have that opportunity to score, to your point. Yeah, the shot went wide. A few times I felt like he slowed the ball down too much. We would be in transition, right? But then he does the classic, like this reminded me of like 3 years ago where we would be in transition and then the players would spin out. It's like, all right, let's build out now from the back.
I think I got those vibes. There was a few moments, and it's like that. You want to give yourself a breather, but there might be something on. So, it's always that battle, I think, of the mind. And it seemed to be more frequent that we're going to pull out and play from the back versus going forward and seeing what happens, because we don't want to be on our back foot again. But that touch from him on the Martinelli chance, that was smooth. Did notice him quite a bit winning balls. He won a few great challenges, which I think that's his expertise. I don't have a good feel for him yet. That's all I can say. I don't think he's going to be a big, I guess, loss for our team as far as the standard or anything like that. He seems like he's a good, proper player. I just don't have a good feel for what is he good at? Like, what is going to be his specialty other than winning the ball? If you're going to have two ball winners, we have Rice and Merino. I was having quite a few moments where I was getting them like mixed up on the field, because they both have the same build. They're both tall, kind of big, stocky guys. So there was times where I'm confusing them. It's like, do you want the same two type of guys in that midfield three when you have another defensive midfielder? Because he seems more of a proper 8, more defensive than he seemed an offensive player, like a 10, right?
Yeah, he had a few moments where he's good at long passing as well. Like a couple of times he did spring us through. There was one where I think he sent Ben White through. We've seen it in the past. He's good at clipping the ball over the top and having that measured long ball. But I hear you. I think one of the things, based on what I've seen so far, I haven't seen anything that would suggest to me the three in the middle should be Marino, Rice, Odegaard as soon as everyone's fit. I just haven't seen that yet.
I agree with that. And Partey, I think he kept trucking on to hit your one to watch. I thought Partey had a decent game. Didn't have any. He did have that one run that was actually funny. He did have the one. I was gonna say he had no explosive moments. He did have a really big run where he ended up losing the ball. I was like, dang, he still got something in his locker. Still got some rocket in his boots. But he had a solid game. Really good performance, in my opinion. If I could give him probably that 6 or 7 range, solid performance. But yeah, going forward, I don't know. The midfield three. I need to see Marino more, and let's keep 11 people on the field, right? Let's keep 11 people on the field.
Let's do that, and let's keep everyone fit. I think we're starting to enter a stage now where it is kind of catching up with us, right? These injuries, it's starting to hurt, man. Like no Timber again. Like that's not great. I think he would have been a great change up to have. Without Odegaard, without Saka, without even Benny Blanco. What did you make of his return to the side? Because there were a few moments where I thought he was on skates, bro.
Tough return for him. I don't think he was awful or anything like that, but just tough return. He comes back playing a dude that's gonna run at him on the outside. So I think he had a tough go. There was a few moments he did try to get his overlap in, which was nice, especially early on before the red card. So he did try to get his overlap in. I think he's still got his stuff, but I mean, that's a come back from injury, 10 men for 60 minutes. It's a tough ask. It is a really tough ask. And it's a shame that we don't have somebody that we can bring off the bench to relieve him. A Timber, that would have been perfect. Ben White coming off an injury. You don't want to play him 90. You don't want to play him 60 minutes with 10 men. And we had to. I mean, that's Ben White. People call him the warrior. So he's going to do it, and he's going to do it to the best of his ability, but not the perfect moment to be playing somebody 90 minutes.
Yeah. Did you see he had given an interview to Ben Foster, I think, the goalkeeper who has a podcast. He stopped by Benny Blanco's house, I think, and they were just walking in the woods and chatting. And it was fun to hear his perspective on a lot of things. They talked a lot about the national team, about him not watching football and other things. Ben White just seems like a very comfortable person in his own skin. It's kind of a privilege to watch that behavior, to be honest with you.
I gotta go watch it. I like Ben White. I think I like the way he presents himself. So I'd give it a watch, to be honest. I did see a clip or two, but I haven't watched the full thing.
Yeah, me too. I'm only going off of clips, to be honest with you. All right, man. Well, on the game, I think a player we have to talk about a little bit who, he's my dog, but King Kai, he was looking more like a prince out there yesterday, man.
Oh, didn't have his best game. And it was late on in the game. You made a comment. Raya played a long ball. He's kind of got that center back pinned on his back. Ball gets to him and it just doesn't end up an Arsenal ball. Not able to knock it down. Not able to let us win that second ball opportunity. However, it comes off of him, goes to Bournemouth, and they start again their attack. Like that was kind of his game in a nutshell, basically. Just nothing really happened for him. Don't think he had a shot. It's just a tough go. Playing as the one up top. Tough.
Yeah, and it's another one of those, Steven, where this guy didn't go on international break. This guy's been injured too. We don't know the amount of training sessions that he has had. There was reports even as early as Thursday saying Kai Havertz isn't featured in any of the training photos. So we really don't know with all of our a majority of our players going on international break and a majority of our players being injured, it just felt like we finally got caught up in a perfect storm to drop points to a team that just beat Leicester 1-0, or lost to Leicester 1-0, pardon. So that's even worse, right? It was one of those, man. And to be honest with you, I mean, at the end of the game, how I felt was, okay, it was a bad day. And that's okay. We move. There's so many more games to play. Other teams are going to drop points. I'm not going to go down in spiral and say Edu out, for example. But all right, it was a bad day. It happens.
So one more moment I'd love to get your opinion on. Sticks. The sticks miss. We have to say something about it. And I'll let you get the first word. Marino wins that ball, has the saucy touch, plays him on his right foot. The keeper is moving from the right of his goal to the left, ends up putting it basically right in the keeper's breadbasket. Woof. Mikel had like 2 comments about that after the game. Direct to Martinelli. Direct. He got to finish that. If he finishes that, the game's different. So what do you got for me?
I'm fully with the manager, dude. If the manager's going to stand up there and say, we had our moments, we had one specific moment that afterwards they scored within 2 minutes of the chance that he missed, dude. That's football, but also Gabriel Martinelli, he has to finish that. You know, for all the talk that we've had about him, he's found his form. I'll give him he might be injured. He didn't just play, but you get a chance like that at this level, the player that we expect you to be, you have to score that. There's just no other way around it.
Yeah, those expectations have changed a little bit for me because he is somebody that I expect to score that maybe in the past, in the yesteryears, as we say. That's a goal that I expect him to score. I don't really expect him to finish that anymore. It's been a while since I've seen him finish a one-on-one goal. Everyone likes to play back that, the Chelsea goal. He had that goal against, was it Crystal Palace, where he put in that last-minute winner where Fabio Vieira played him through?
I think so.
When's the last time you've seen him go one-on-one, straight up with the keeper and finish a ball like that? It's been a while. To be good to him, at least he didn't put it over. At least he put it on frame. We give him credit for that. But you you just have to finish that. That's tough.
You do. And when's the last time you saw him go near post in one of these one-on-ones? It's like, we know he likes that finesse corner shot.
It was safe. It was very safe.
And everyone knows you like that shot now, dude. So when you're through like that, every now and then you got to give the keeper the eyes. This is the thing about Martinelli, is that he doesn't even get his head up to give the keeper the eyes. You know, he's just shooting, dude.
Yeah, the debate continues. The Trossard Martinelli thing continues. I truly believe Martinelli did not start because he's injured. To me, it makes no sense why he wouldn't. There has to be something going on with him. He still gave you the 30 minutes at the end, which we got an opportunity from him. But again, if Trossard was there, does he finish? I don't know, but I'd feel a little bit better about it. But the debate continues between those two guys. Trossard obviously had a stinker, terrible ball. That chain of events starts with him. So he has a huge effect on the red card. Martinelli doesn't finish that. Goal right after. It's a game of chances and opportunities, and we ended up on the wrong side of quite a few.
Absolutely, dude. And we can't sit there and keep reflecting on it, because we're recording on Sunday, and in 2 days we play Shakhtar. Okay. At least we're back home. We'll be home on Tuesday against Shakhtar. We'll be home on Sunday against Liverpool. William Saliba now is going, I think that was a straight red, right? So he's going to miss Liverpool. He'll miss the Preston game, which I think will serve as one of those since it's a domestic cup. And then he'll miss the Newcastle game. If we didn't have the Preston game, he would have missed Liverpool, Newcastle, and Chelsea.
Let's look this up. I'm pretty sure it's just one game because it's not violent conduct. Punishment dependent on the specific act.
So it says that it's a straight red card, and a straight red card usually ends up being a 3-match ban. I don't think it has to do with the violent conduct factor. I think it's just a straight red versus a yellow followed by a red. But it says when it comes to last man fouls officially deemed as professional fouls, the punishment is only 1 game. So
that's what I had read, but I okay, as long as that could be confirmed.
Yeah, that's from Yahoo Sports, so
reputable.
I think I'll trust it.
It's better than Wiki.
I think I'll trust it. So not as bad as it could have been, but still, he's missing Liverpool. Liverpool, you know how I feel about Liverpool's forwards, so...
Oh, man. Yeah, so 1 game ban, not bad. Compared to the 3, we'll take it. But that 1 game being Liverpool is tough. You know, like, I saw a few comments about this yesterday, and I didn't like reading the socials yesterday from Arsenal fans because it's, skies falling behavior. But one thing that I did see that I kind of agree with is it's a real shame when you go through a season. You got Villa, you got City, you have that Brighton game, and you played really well against these Tottenham. Had some big games and you get your results. And where do you drop? You drop against Bournemouth. You don't lose against City. You beat Tottenham. Like those are the games you're like, man, that can cost us at the end of the season when the difference is 3-4 points, 2 points at the end of the year, and you're dropping points to Bournemouth. And I really sit and think about last year, that December we had, the points that we dropped to Fulham, to West Ham, teams like that. It's like, damn, that's what ended up losing the league for us. This is a result. No matter how good you did against the best teams in the league, those mid-table teams, if you don't get the results, it's tough. It's tough. And now you're going into Liverpool, one of the best teams in the league, without your center back. So obviously now we got to fight and scrap for the point. It is going to be a ugly game. Ooh, it's going to be an ugly game. I know we're going to be probably sat back for that one, but hopefully we can get Timber back. We need somebody back. And I would prefer Kiwior doesn't start that and Timber does, and either Ben White or him play at center back.
I don't think Kiwior is going to get a lot of time going forward, to be honest with you. We didn't really talk about the second goal. The pass back from him to put David Raya in a one-on-one situation where he had to bring the player down. Penalty. Within 2-3 minutes after that, he gets subbed. You're of the mind that he didn't get subbed because of that, but I'm of the mind that I think the manager's had enough. That was not great. We for the standards that we're setting, that was just not good, Kiwi. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I mean, with the red cards and the injuries, maybe he'll get time, but I can't see him playing a lot of games coming up, man. I think we'll just tough it out with the guys that we have and the guys that can be trusted, because he's got that in his locker and we can't afford it.
That's short-term memory, man. We went on like a 10-game unbeaten run with him playing in the lineup last year. Come on. Even if you want to put Calafiori in the center back, and not Kiwior, you put him out at left back. That's fine. But it was a mistake. He doesn't play a lot. A guy that doesn't play a lot ends up on the field in a crucial position, center back, on the wrong side as well. He's playing right center back, plays a terrible ball to the keeper. I mean, the game was done at that point, in my opinion. Like, we were not coming back, right? We weren't coming back. Whatever. It is what it is, man.
Look at you. Look at you standing
I hope
up
he doesn't play.
You are out here standing up for your unsung hero of last season, huh?
That's true. That is true. I don't want him to play. I hope he doesn't start. If he needs to get minutes, that's fine. But I would prefer Timber, Tomiyasu. Bless your heart. Get fit. He would be a better option. There's a lot of options in the squad that I'd prefer over Kiwior. But that's where we are these days, man. This is the Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine a Calafiori left center back and Zinchenko left back? I mean, what can you expect possibly in that, except for counters?
No left back. Yeah, no left back at all. The left side of our defense would be an absolute hole.
Big hole, dude. All right, man. Anything else about the game you want to chat about, or should we just move on from this?
I think we're moving on.
Let's move on, dude. Before we look ahead, let me just share a quick update on how the ladies of Arsenal are doing. They are playing today, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. against West Ham. So hopefully they can get a win, but they did play in the Champions League midweek. We had talked about the women's manager potentially being on the hot block. Again, podcasting business, man. As soon as we published that episode, the next day, it looked like he resigned, and now the women got an interim manager. They did win their Champions League game, so started off good under new leadership, and let's see how it goes today in the actual league.
Yeah, it's a cruel business, absolutely cruel. But hopefully they pick it up. I'm looking at the matchups in the league from yesterday, going around the league. Wasn't many to really share. The Brighton Newcastle one is the one that stands out. But today, you got Liverpool, Chelsea. It's 11:30 kickoff here. That's the big one of the weekend. Obviously, fingers crossed. Need some drop points. City also play today. Hoping for drop points today, but if anything, it's not going to be written. The script for this weekend has been written.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the part where you're mentioning, you go and you have the performances against the big teams, call it. You show up for the big games and then you drop points against a team like this. And then now we're in hope and prayer mode. It's back to last season where it's like, oh, come on, West Ham, you can make Manchester City drop points. Like, we really can't afford to be in these positions, man. It's just the league that we have.
Had the opportunity to go top of the league for that one day, for that 24 hours, which would have been, it's just it's about putting that pressure on. You drop the points, a little pressure's dropped on them boys. Just gotta keep in the race. From who we've played, I truly do believe, I think we've our top contenders, but you got to keep 11 players on the field. Played 90 minutes, about 150 minutes, I would guess, probably a little more with 10 players on the field. It's a lot. That's a lot of football. It's a lot of football, and we've dropped points in all 3 of those games. So
that's
tough sledding.
Those are the only games we've dropped points in, right?
Yes, sir.
So. Yeah, who would have thunk it? You need 11 to win the game. All right, man. Well, we do play Shakhtar on Tuesday. It's so hard to predict the lineup. It's so hard to figure out what's gonna happen. I think just best wishes to everyone. I hope the recoveries go well. I hope we have some more attacking power back for the game. It's at home, so I'd love to see the fans really show up and be behind the team. I've kind of struggled with the atmosphere at the Emirates this season, especially with these midweek games. It's looked a little emptier. I think the PSG game, I remember vividly their fans were so much louder than us in our stadium. I remember the game against who did we play before Preston? I'm blanking now, but that Bolton, yeah, in that Carabao Cup game, the stadium was kind of looking empty. So I know it's Shakhtar, but I hope the stadium is buzzing, man. We need it.
Need this one. This to me is a game that you kind of bank as a win at home against Shakhtar. Like, if you're looking at the lineup of Champions League games, this is one they're setting aside. Like, all right, we have to have this one. Just a must-have. Currently, I'm looking at Shakhtar's form. Loss, draw, loss, draw, loss. So I'm feeling good for it. I'm of the mindset of you. Make sure we don't risk any injuries. It's rough sledding right now. If you need to get players minutes for fitness, great. but have some options to bring maybe some of the young boys on. I think maybe a Lewis Skelly, Waneri option here would be great. We got Sterling. Get him some minutes. I would love to see that. Then, of course, Mr. Champions League, Jesus. This could be an opportunity for him to get minutes as well. So, big one at the weekend with Liverpool. Get a nice win on a Tuesday. Is this a Tuesday? Yeah, on a Tuesday night. Heading into Saturday. Excuse me, Sunday.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know if we'll have a reaction pod to that game or a preview pod to the Liverpool game. But we'll definitely be with you afterwards to reflect and put on our hindsight goggles. You know, we love doing that. So thank you everyone for, sorry, anything else from you?
Not today. No, I'm good.
All right, man. Well, thanks everyone for spending time with us. We'll try to produce and get this out to you Sunday. So enjoy the week, enjoy the Champions League nights, and take care of yourselves.
Be easy.